Hello and welcome. We are going to look at yet another good and wonderful topic, and this is pre-colonial kingdoms in Maravi, and this is history from two. So on the pre-colonial kingdoms, we are going to look at the two kingdoms. The first one is the Maravi, and the second one is the Tumbuka or Nkamanga kingdom. So we are going to start with the Maravi. So let's be together. Let's walk through together and see this wonderful topic and explore what happened in the pre-colonial kingdoms in Malawi. Now, we need to start by introducing this this word, that is a pre-colonial. So we have to know what this word pre-colonial means. So when we say pre-colonial, this word referred to a period between the departure from loose organization of people to the actual political authority and organization of the people before the arrival and influence of the white settlers. So the white settlers that came to settle in Malawi, those ones are called the colonialist. So the period in between when people were just loosely living. Remember, when we talked of the previous topic, that is the Iron Age in Central Africa, during that period, it was that iron working technology that started bringing the people together to settle together. Earlier on, the people were just living on their daily needs, to say, all right, we just move. They were just on transit each and every time. They were on transit, moving from one place to the other. If you remember one point where you mentioned of the Akafula, maybe at one point, those people, they were just depending on their daily needs. So they were keeping on moving now and again. So settled life came or was brought about with the iron working technology. So that period between when people were just moving freely and the time when before the coming of the white settlers who were looking for their they were the fortune seekers, of course. They were looking for things to make their lives better. So that period, it was called the pre-colonial. They were the pre-colonial kingdoms. The people were living a settled life led by the leaders or the kings. So it is in Malawi associated with the arrival of the Bantu migrants. So the Bantu migrants who came to Malawi, they are the ones who can be identified in Malawi to say, right, the coming or the arrival of this Bantu, it was the beginning of the kingdoms in Malawi. So that's why we are saying that we are going to discuss about the Maravi kingdom and the Tumbuka Nkamanga kingdoms. So these two kingdoms are going to be discussed. But of course, there were so many kingdoms. For example, we talked of the Ngonde. They were also organized. When you go to Form 3, you will be looking at the Yao. Of course, they had no paramount chief, but still more, they were a people who were also united under their leaders. In also Form 3, you are also going to look at the Ngoni. The Ngoni of Jere, the Jere Ngoni, and the Maseko Ngoni. The Jere Ngoni, they settled up in the north, and the Maseko Ngoni, they settled in the central region, that is in Cheo. So all those people, they were the kingdoms, they were organized under their leaders. But this time around, our curriculum demands us to look at these two, that is the Maravi as well as the Nkamanga. So starting with the Maravi. So the Maravi kingdom gives out the early history of Malawi and why the country we are living in now is called Malawi. So our country's name Malawi is deriving from the Maravi kingdom. So it is quite interesting that we have to look at this kingdom Maravi. So let's be together. Let's be attentive and see how this Maravi kingdom came into existence and how this territory, this region now we are living in, is called Malawi. So let's trace the migration routes of the Maravi. Remember, we said the Maravi kingdom, the kingdoms in Malawi were identified by the coming of these migrants. So the Maravi people, they came from Lubalunda. So how did they migrate to Kapirintiwa? So we are going to look at their movement from Lubalunda to Kapirintiwa. So the founders of the Maravi kingdom, they migrated from Uluba in Katanga, Uluba, Katanga. That's why we have said Lubalunda. So they migrated from there, Uluba or Ulua, Katanga area in eastern Zaire. So this Zaire is not there, but today we have a country known as DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, where we hear our soldiers go for peacekeeping. Usually they go there in DRC. So just there, that's where the Maravi people migrated from. So this one, it was a Bantu speaking people, a Bantu. So their language was Bantu, the Bantu, or Bantu, like that. So they entered Malawi in a series of clans. So when they came to Malawi, they came in their clans. So most notable ones, the notable clans were the Banda. So these Bandas are the Kalimanjira. So there are some people we hear they have this surname Kalimanjira. Those ones are the Bandas. You have to know. If someone says, I am John Kalimanjira, just know that this one, their roots are the the Bandas. So the Kalimanjiras, they are the Bandas. And also the Phiri. The Phiris were also the notable clans of those people who migrated from Lubalunda. So the Banda clan, they produced the religious leaders. So you have to take note of these things. The Bandas they produced the religious leaders. So some of these religious leaders were Mangazi. So this Mangazi was a religious leader at Kapirintiwa, and Mwali, he was a religious leader at Mankamba. So you have to take note of that the Kalimanjiras, the Bandas, they were the religious clan, and they produced the religious leaders, Mangazi, as well as Kapirintiwa, as well as Mwali. So Mangazi at Kapirintiwa, when they first settled at Kapirintiwa, and at Mankamba they had their religious leader known as Mwali. On the other hand, the Kalonga or the Phiri, they produced the Kalonga. So when we talk of the Kalonga, we mean the political leader. So by this name Kalonga, it means the one who puts together. Kulonga, Kalonga. That's the verb that is deriving from. So meaning to pack or to unite. So to pack things together, or Kalonga. Kalonga, or putting things like in a basket, you are putting the cassava there, it means Kalonga. So that's where they are deriving the name Kalonga as the political leader, or the one who puts the people together, the one who unites the people. So the first person to lead the people, or this group of the Maravi from Zaire, this one was Mazizi. So Mazizi was the one who led the people out of Zaire. Now when they started migrating from Zaire, they were led by Mazizi. But Mazizi was not a Kalonga. He was not a Kalonga. So you have to take note of that. Was not a Kalonga. Why? Because the title by then had not yet been adopted. So he was just a leader who led that big group of people out of Zaire to elsewhere. So they didn't have even the mind to say we are going somewhere else at a so place, but they were just moving out of Zaire. So the one who who led the people out of Zaire was Mazizi. But take note that Mazizi, although we can say he's a Kalonga, but he was not a Kalonga, because by that time that title was not yet adopted. So he led the group into Eastern Zambia. So when they moved out of Zaire or DRC or Uluba or Lubalunda country there, when they moved out, they first settled in Eastern Zambia. Then this gentleman, the leader Mazizi, who led the people out of Zaire, he was succeeded by Chinkole. So Chinkole was the one who was the first to adopt the title of Kalonga. So the first Kalonga was Chinkole and not Mazizi, because the title of Kalonga was adopted by the second leader, that is Chinkole. So he was the first Kalonga. So he led the group to Kapirintiwa. That is from Eastern Zambia. Now they went to Kapirintiwa. So where is Kapirintiwa? Kapirintiwa is found in the Zaranyama range. Where do we have this Zaranyama range? It is in western part of the Lilongwe district. That's where we have Zaranyama range. So just there in the Zaranyama range, there is Kapirintiwa there. So that's where the Maravi people, after coming out of Eastern Zambia, then they first settled in Malawi at Kapirintiwa. So Kapirintiwa in the Zaranyama range. So this Chinkole Kalonga, the first Kalonga Chinkole, he was succeeded by Chizonzi. So he was succeeded by Chizonzi. So Chizonzi, he led the group from Kapirintiwa up to their settlement at Mantimba, near Ntagataka in Dedza. So their final settling place was Mantimba, Mankamba in Dedza at Ntagataka. So that's where there was the headquarters of the Maravi kingdom. So look at the leaders. The first leader was Mazizi, but he was not the Kalonga. The second leader was Chinkole. He was the first Kalonga. So Mazizi led the people out of DRC to Eastern Zambia. So from Eastern Zambia to Kapirintiwa, they were led by Chinkole. So Chinkole led the people to Kapirintiwa. So Chinkole, after he died, then he was succeeded by Chizonzi. Chizonzi came after Chinkole. So this Chizonzi, he was the one who led the people from Kapirintiwa to Mantimba. So you have to take note of what happened, or the events, the circumstances, or the sequence of the events, how they flowed. Now, before we proceed, we have to to take note of some of the places, some of the important places, or the names of the places that we are going to mention now and again in this topic. So the first one is Mantimba. Mantimba is the headquarters of the kingdom at Mtakataka in Dedza. We said their final settling place, the Maravi, was in Dedza at Mtakataka. Now, that place where they settled, it was called Mantimba. Well, Mankamba, take note of this. It was a center for ancestral worship in Mtakataka. Just there in Mtakataka, they created a place of worship. Just as we have the churches, we go to church. So at Mantimba there, they created a special place which was called Mankamba, and it was a worshiping place. Then there is also a name Nsinja, a place called Nsinja. So this one is a place in Lilongwe, close to Zaranyama range. Remember, when they arrived, they first settled in the Zaranyama range at Kapilintio. So there is a place called Nsinja. Even today, we hear Lilongwe Nsinja. So it acted as a central, as the central shrine in the kingdom, where a chief priestess, Makewana, was serving. So she was the rainmaker. So Makewana, the rainmaker, was there. It was also like the worshiping place. It was like the central worshiping place, because they first arrived at the Zaranyama range and they created there a shrine, a worshiping place where the chief priestess by the name Makewana was there. She was always there serving. So what was she doing? She was basically a rainmaker. When there is drought, the people were going there to consult Makewana for rain calling. Then she could pray, then the rains could come. And another place is Kapilintio. So you cannot forget this one, Kapilintio. So this one is a place in Lilongwe West. So the Phiri and the Banda clan claims that the God, or God, created all beings from here. So according to the tradition of the Maravi, they say that God created people at Kapilintio. Now they have the proof. What is the proof? So their proof is the footprints. They are the footprints of people, animals, and birds, which are found on a big stone there at Kapilintio. So with that, then the people, or the Maravi, they believed that God created people at Kapilintio. And there is also another name we have to take note of, and this one is Kuruvi. So Kuruvi is a place in Nsanje district where Mbona Kat, a place of worship again of Lundu. So it was located there. So it was located there at Kuruvi. So Mbona Kat was at Kuruvi, where in Nsanje. It was controlled by who? Lundu. We are going to hear about Lundu later in this lesson. So these are some of the names we have to take note of. So don't forget these names, because they are so important. Now let's look at the reasons. Why did the Maravi migrate into Malawi? Why did these people migrate into Malawi? Now, the first one was to look for trade items. They came here to look for trade items. What were they? They were looking for ivory. So there in Lubalunda, it was a big community. So people were trading. So you know, when you are a big community, you are trading, at one point in time, you find that the resources that you are using, they are depleted. Hence, you have to migrate and look for other resources. So that's why they traveled to look for trade items. And also for an ease access to iron tools for farming. So they wanted easy access to iron tools. Iron working technology originated, maybe it has a very long history, this one. It is like, when we trace it, it is from the Assyrians. At one point in time, the Assyrians, they fought with the Egyptians and they defeated them. Why were the Egyptians defeated? It was because the Assyrians were using iron tools. Now, the next kingdom from, or after the fall of Egypt, there was the rise of Kush kingdom. So that Kush kingdom, the Kushites, they adopted the ironworking technology, and they made it a big trade in iron trade. So people were coming from Central Africa, from West Africa, and they were trading in iron. And the people during that trade, they also adopted that technology, and it spread to Western Africa, like we hear in Nigeria, the Nok civilization there. Then from there is when it also spread to DRC. In DRC, iron working technology was so big than in Nigeria itself. Reason was that there were a lot of trees there for burning the iron ore. So people were coming there to say, all right, here iron ore is just easy to produce to iron. So there was a great civilization in DRC there. And apart from that, there were a lot of mineral deposits there, iron ore deposits. So with that, the kingdom was just big. So, if you are many, then resources, they are depleted. So if resources, they are depleted, you have to look for a place where you can have those resources. So that's why we are saying that they wanted to have an easy access to iron tools for farming. And also they wanted to be free from fighting among the families. They wanted to be free from fighting. When the community is big, you fight on trivial or small issues. So with that, then they wanted to do away with that. Also, there was also need for grazing land or grazing areas for their livestock. So they wanted to have good grazing land for their livestock. So that's why they migrated. They migrated from the Luba Lunda. Not also forgetting that because the community was also big there in the Luba Lunda, then it happened that there was famine there. So with that, they did not like the place, then they traveled. Just as we do here, people migrate maybe to South Africa and maybe other areas, maybe to find a living, and even to have good stability, because they were civil wars there, fighting among the families. That is civil wars. They were running away from those things. Now, when they arrived in Malawi, the Maravi, they found what we call the Proto-Chewa. So here, let's look at the reasons why these Proto-Chewa accepted both the Banda and the Phiri clans. So we have to take note that when we say Proto-Chewa, these Proto-Chewa, historians, they refer to an area group available in Malawi before the Chewa groups of the Banda and the Phiri. So Proto, it means before. So when they were coming here, these people, the Banda and the Phiri, or the Malawi, when they were coming here, they found people here. So those people are the ones that are referred to as the Proto. the Proto-Chewa, the people who were there, whom the Maravi found in Malawi. So why did those people accept or welcomed the Banda and the Phiri? So there were a number of reasons why they were accepted. Number one was that they had good knowledge of centralized political system. So they had that good knowledge of centralized political system. We have just mentioned that the people, the pre-colonial kingdoms we are talking about here, they were the first civilizations like in this area, whereby at first people were just moving, wandering up and down without coming together to live as a society under a leadership. So the coming of the Banda and the Phiri, it gave them another sense of living, because these people who just came, they had good knowledge of centralized political system, whereby all the people, they had to pay their allegiance, their loyalty to one political leader, to one leader at a time. So that one is called centralized system. And they had economic services of great value to them. So these Proto-Chewa, the people who were in Malawi, they found these newcomers to be profitable. Why? Because they were producing iron smelting, and they were making tools for farming. So they could say, yes, these people, they are improving our lives. They are making our lives better. Look at maybe, for example, the things that we are using now. Today we are using the torches at night. We are using maybe different improved things, the phones and the like. Most of them, they have been brought to us by the outsiders, especially the Chinese. When maybe the fishermen today, they go to the lake to catch the fish at night, you find that they use the torches or the bulbs, very bright. Those things, they are made in China. So why? So we see that sometimes the newcomers, they can improve your life. They can make your life better. They can be profitable to you. So the Proto-Chewa, they accepted these newcomers to say, live with us. Let us coexist. Let us live together, because we find you to be profitable. And they were peace-loving people. So both the Chewa, the Proto-Chewa, they liked to be peaceful. And the newcomers who just came in, also them again, they were peace-loving people. They did not want to displace the people whom they found there. So they just came and shared their knowledge, and the people welcomed them. So they were the peace-loving people. So the Maravi were the peace-loving people. So they also had the knowledge in medicine and in magic, and to heal and to protect them from diseases, the spirits and witchcraft. So we see to it that they had the knowledge of medicine. The Maravi, the newcomers, they also had that knowledge of medicine. So with that, then the Proto-Chewa, they said, yes, welcome, you're welcome. Teach us the magic. Teach us to protect ourselves from the diseases and the evil spirits, and again, even from witchcraft. So they did that one. They accepted them. They accepted them for those reasons. So besides all these reasons, we also find it that there was a marriage between the Kalonga Phiri and the Makewana of the Banda clan. So this one, it united the two clans and made them to coexist in a friendlier way, in a friendly way. So what we are trying to say is that even the newcomers that came, they were united. So what was the thing that brought them into unity? It was marriage. There was that marriage between the Banda and the Phiri. So their marriage, it united them, that even when they came here, the people, the Proto-Chewa, they saw to it that, oh, look at these people. They are so united, but they are many. They are so united. So the Proto-Chewa, they accepted them to say they are a united people. So if you are united as a family, you are united within no enemy can attack you from outside. So no enemy can attack you from outside if you are united within. So this is a very good lesson that we have to learn, maybe in Marawi, as Marawi from Sanje to Chitipa. If we are not united, we'll a bit defeated economically or whatever by the outside. They'll be coming, tapping resources, off they go, then we blame each other. Hey, there are these people who are selling our resources. Hey, that one. If we are not united, so an enemy outside cannot do anything if we are united within. We learn it from the Banda and the Phiri. They were united, of course, in marriage, but then it portrayed, it showed that they were a united people. Hence, they were accepted by the Proto-Chewa. So we see that one. So let us continue by looking at the factors that led to the rise of the Kalonga or the Maravi kingdom. So we're looking at the factors that led to the rise of the Maravi kingdom. So the first one was the agriculture. Now, as we have mentioned, to say after Kaphirintiwa, then they finally settled at Mantimba, Mankamba. So that area, Mankamba area, had fertile soils for cultivation. So they were cultivating crops like millet, cassava, sorghum, as well as maize. So these ones were the major crops that the Maravi were cultivating. So with that sufficient food, it attracted many people to settle in the area, and it promoted population growth, hence the rise of the kingdom. Remember, when there is abundant food, people, they do not worry about anything. Then people were just living peacefully and they were just multiplying. Then there was that population growth leading to the rise of the kingdom. So the kingdom was swelling in numbers, the people were more. The other factor for the rise of the Maravi kingdom or the growth of the Maravi kingdom was the centralized government. Centralized government. So by centralized, you have to know that here we mean there was a central point of authority. So the Kalonga was the overall leader. So he had control on the affairs of the kingdom through his chiefs. So the Kalonga had the total authority of the kingdom. But he was exercising his powers through other chiefs. So there were other chiefs who were assisting the Kalonga to govern well. So he promoted, or this system of the centralized political system, it promoted unity and loyalty among the people and their king. So the people, they were loyal to the king and also to the lesser chiefs, as well as amongst themselves. There was that unity because they knew for sure that there was one overall political leader. So the Kalonga was able to demonstrate the Lubalunda system of control, which is the centralized political authority. Remember, we said the Proto-Chewa. The Proto-Chewa, they accepted the Maravi because of their system of government, their political system, whereby they respected one leader, whereby the people who were here, they had no one leader. Each family was independent of any other. So here, the Kalonga was exercising that Lubalunda system of government, which had proved to be effective in most colonial kingdoms or pre-colonial kingdoms. So we see to it that Lubalunda people accepted it to say, all right, this type of government is really good, whereby we need to respect and be loyal to our leader. Another factor for the rise of the Maravi kingdom was the population growth. So this proved clan leadership to be a failure. Remember, when people were multiplying in numbers, the population was growing, then the head of the family failed to control all his lineage. So a king was opted therefore. So they opted for a king for a better political organization that strengthened the kingdom. So with the failure of clan leadership, to say, all right, the head of the family is the leader of everyone. With the population growth, then the clan leaders, they failed to control their line. Therefore, there was that need to have a leader, an overall leader, to control everyone in that area, in that territory. Therefore, they needed that king. Another factor for the rise or for the growth of the Maravi kingdom was trade. So this was used by the early Kalongas. Basically, they used it to increase their power around their headquarters. So the Kalongas, the early Kalongas, they indulged in trade. So they were trading with the Arabs and the Portuguese. And these people, the Maravi, they were selling ivory, iron, or iron tools, and slaves, even the other materials, the Mashira cloth. It is said also that they were selling those things. So they were exchanging those things for guns, for beads, and for cloth that and attracted people to settle in the area. So they were trading in those areas or in those materials like guns, beads, and clothes, and all these things, they attracted people to settle in that area. And they are also because of that trade, the kings were empowered for effective administration. So, you know, when there is trade, people, they acquire a lot of materials. So you acquire a lot of materials, you have those materials you share with other people. It means you have power, you have authority over the other people whom you share with. Another factor for the growth was the iron tools and the weapons. So they improved the agriculture by producing abundant food that attracted people to settle again in the area. So with the use of iron tools, remember in the last topic we are looking at the Iron Age in Central Africa, whereby we said even the Maravi themselves, they are producing iron weapons or iron tools. So they were also using the same tools for agriculture. As a result, they produced a lot of food, and hence people, they just settled in that area to say, yes, we have to settle in this area because we use iron tools and good farming techniques. And iron weapons improved the security for peaceful existence. So they were able to exist peacefully because they knew they were fully equipped with the iron tools. Hence, they were not intimidated by any intruder into the area or into the kingdom. Hence, their kingdom lived peacefully. The policy of decentralization was also another thing that led to the growth or expansion of the Maravi kingdom. So the lesser chiefs under the Kalonga, like Undi, Lundu, Kapwiti, they extended the boundaries of the empire or the kingdom and incorporated all the people into the Maravi kingdom. So what happened was that at one point in time, the kingdom, it grew so big, it was so vast when Lundu, when Undi, Lundu and Kapwiti, they left Mankamba, or the headquarters of the Kalonga, and went somewhere else. We are going to talk about this very soon. Now, when they went out, they defeated or they conquered all those areas and brought all those people whom they conquered under the Maravi kingdom. Hence, the kingdom, it grew very big. Intermarriages between the Proto-Chewa, the Banda, and the PRE clans. This one, it was also another factor that led to the growth or to the expansion of the Maravi kingdom. So why was it like that? Because that marriage, intermarriage, created a peaceful environment for the formation of the Maravi kingdom through unity and royalty. So when people intermarried, it meant that they were now relatives. They could not do bad things to their relatives. As a result, the kingdom now, it grew peacefully. They settled peacefully and they were just multiplying there. And religion was also another factor for the rise of the Maravi kingdom. So religion acted as an incentive. It was a motivating factor to the formation and rise of the kingdom, as the leaders were regarded as the living representatives of their ancestors. So on religion, it was a unifying factor. It was a motivating factor whereby people respected or regarded their leaders to say they were representing the spirits of the departed fathers or their ancestors. As a result, there was a total royalty. And even the leaders, they were taken as religious leaders because they represented their ancestors. So the kings had the spiritual powers that made them to be feared and respected by their subjects. So the kings, as mentioned, they were regarded as religious leaders who possessed the spiritual powers. So there were worshipping places. We mentioned about these places, you have to remember. We said that there was the Murila Kat at Mankamba and the Makewana Kat at Nsinja and Mbona Kat at Kuruvi in Nsanje. So those were the worshipping places. So overall, the leaders, they were respected. They were the ones who were on top of this worship or the beliefs. Now, we have just talked about religion. Now, let's look at the importance. What was the importance of religion in the Maravi kingdom? Number one, we are saying that it promoted unity among the people who had the common beliefs and traditions. So, unity. Usually, when we go to church, in whatever church we go to, find that because we are in the same with other people, we can differ maybe in political parties, we can differ maybe from in families, but when we go to church, we regard ourselves to say we are brothers and sisters. Although we are different, we are affiliated to different societies or political groups or political affiliations. But when we go at church, we say we are brothers and sisters. So that's what we are talking about here. It promoted unity. So religion promoted unity because the people, they had the common beliefs and traditions. So it also encouraged royalty to the king. So there was that royalty to the king and other rulers within the kingdom. So all the leaders were, as we have said, all the leaders, they were respected to say they possessed the spiritual powers. As a result, religion in the Maravi, they were worshipping their ancestral spirits represented by their leaders. So with that one, religion, it promoted royalty to the king and the rulers of the kingdom. It also strengthened the position of the king, as the subjects recognized him as their leader with supernatural powers. So therefore, he had that support and royalty. So all the subjects of the Kalonga, they respected him so much because they regarded him to say, oh, the Kalonga had supernatural powers. He is possessing the spiritual powers from the ancestral spirits. So as a result, all the people with all the subjects, all the people, they respected and they were very loyal to him.